So, hi everybody. My name is Jameela. I'm from Fera, and I'm here with Darren from Klickly. And today we are going to be talking about how you can improve your ad spend for Black Friday, Cyber Monday. So let's get started. And first, let's talk about some trends from last year. So Darren, since you are the ad guru, can you go over some trends that were going on last year with Black Friday, Cyber Monday?
That's a large title to uphold. Ad guru.
Everybody wants to be a guru.
And there's always trends. I think every year some stay the same, some new come about. I think looking at last year, a huge trend that we've seen, and I think is even more so into this year, is a little bit in the AI and big data space. And then I'll also even add into like CCPA, GDPR, privacy stuff. People are trying to keep their stuff secret.
Okay, wait. Can you go over what CCPA is at, like the California one?
So it's like the US California version of GDPR. So GDPR is kind of like the European side of things. It's more so for the California side of things, which essentially is like privacy for any consumer. So under the CCPA Act, if let's say you have information and it's your information is with a brand or a company, you have the right to say, I need you to get rid of all my information. You're not allowed to have any of it.
Okay.
So most brands.
Yeah, sorry. Go on.
Most brands should definitely be equipped to anonymize some data and customer information and all that good stuff.
Right. That definitely makes sense. So does Klickly have the ability for that to happen with their ads? Yeah, so it's really important for us. We spent a huge amount of time, especially making sure that, of course, we hit the deadline. We want to make sure that we're good and ready to go for when you need it. Right. But for us, obviously we're a third-party app. So, and for anybody that doesn't know, it might make sense. Klickly, for anybody that doesn't know, we're actually an advertising platform. So we're a little bit different. We're 100% commission-based. We don't require upfront spend, and we use a data-driven machine learning algorithm to advertise across 25 million different websites. So for us... That makes sense. Okay, so
go ahead.
So the first trend is AI, and the second trend is making sure that you have the ability for your customers to remove their information and not be advertised to if they so choose.
Definitely. So that was definitely a trend that has gone into this year. I think one of the other ones that we've definitely seen, and it will always be present, is of course CPA spiking.
Yes.
Come around, ebbs and flows, holidays, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, Q4, all of that good stuff. We're going to see them skyrocket. So
like last year, what time does ad spend typically skyrocket? Like what time around last year did that happen?
I mean, every year it's getting earlier and earlier and earlier. Everybody is trying to beat their own competition. So I think we're in the olden days, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, it was kind of around that area, Black Friday, okay, it started to spike. Now people are like, I'm trying to get ahead of the next guy. I'm going to do it a week earlier. My sales are going to go a week longer. So I definitely think that last year and into this year especially, we'll see longer high CPA spikes.
Okay. So that's good to know the trends from last year. So let's talk about kind of the ad platforms for each industry and each target market so that people can start to decide where they should be placing their ad spend, what's right for them. Maybe they don't have to be on all the platforms all the time. So I guess we can start with Facebook and Instagram, since that's technically Google's the biggest, but I think a lot of direct to consumer brands are always thinking about Facebook and Instagram. So we should talk about what Facebook is good for, what Instagram is good for, and then we can go to Google Shopping, and then we can talk about Klickly.
Yeah, 100%. Honestly, 100% of the brands I talk to are on Facebook and Instagram.
Right.
It's almost unavoidable. They're bar none in terms of targeting and everything else. So a lot of the times, a big chunk of ad revenue is allocated to Facebook and Instagram.
Right.
I don't know if do you find that same with your clients and even yourself? I know you have your business yourself, so
Yeah, everybody's on Facebook. Not quite everybody's on Instagram, but like typically to be on Instagram, you have to dance with Facebook.
It comes with it.
Yeah, exactly. So like I'm on Facebook and Instagram, but I mostly advertise on Facebook only because like I find that now that Facebook has like you can tag your products and they have like the Facebook shop, I find that that's like pretty useful for conversions and getting like a good return on ad spend. So I find that Facebook is better for advertising for me anyway, and I sell jewelry than like Instagram, which is weird because like you would think it would be Instagram, but I get a lot more organic sales from Instagram. So like when we post like a necklace or a bracelet, somebody will be like, "Oh, I want that," and then but never from ads.
Well, that makes sense. I think Instagram is definitely much more of a creative lifestyle branding platform, right? Product forward, it's images first and foremost. It's not, and people, you go to your Instagram and you're just checking out the things that you like outside of your friends' pictures, so you're going to follow what you like. And even if you're in the search thing, you're going to search what you're interested in. So I think Instagram, interestingly enough, has a little bit of Pinterest in it. Like you can kind of search towards imagery, right? You might not necessarily know what you like, but if it's a cool, sweet product and has a great picture.
Exactly. And actually the interesting thing about Instagram that I even personally use it for is like, I kind of use it like Pinterest where I'll save like photos. I'm like, oh, I want to see that. And then you like have your little groups or whatever. So yeah, I think Facebook is good for like, I find Facebook is good for like, if you're reaching like an older demographic that's like ready to buy kind of. And then Instagram is really good for promoting your brand, like as a lifestyle brand and creating that community.
100% agree.
So, okay, let's talk about Google Shopping and what types of brands should be on there. Let's talk about those ads.
Yeah. Well, huge change and good on Google for doing it. With kind of the economic and the pandemic and everything going on, they made the change for Google Shopping to be free. And it's not free for everybody, but within the Google Shopping tab, right, there is a possibility to have more so organic presence, if you will, and you don't have to pay for it, which is nice. So I think with that being said, I think every brand should be on Google Shopping if you can, and you have products, why not? Especially if it's free and you can get up there organically. If you don't, right, and if you have some money to spend and you want to go into Google Shopping, certainly if you are a product-centric company that is competitive, I guess you can say, and this is my personal opinion, I only use Google Shopping when I have no brand loyalty. If I need like an office desk or something, I'm just going to type office desk. I don't know what brand office desk I like.
That's true. Unless it's
go to the Google Shopping tab and look at all of the different products. So, for me, if you have like a very product centric, that's more of in a competitive space, and you have really good product imagery, leverage Google Shopping, and they have the machine learning algorithm that you can leverage too.
Right. And I think that if you are going to like have your products on Google Shopping, you want to make sure that like your description is really good and like your product descriptions and your product photos once people get there are really good. Because I think I read a stat somewhere that it's only like I think Google Shopping is like 1 or 2% conversion rate, and then only 17% of people who like will ever visit your site will like buy something. So
it's still really low.
Yeah, exactly. So get your product descriptions right. Make sure that Google can even wants to show your product.
Right.
Page. Okay, cool. So what about Klickly? Let's talk about that and planning your ad spend around that and what brands that's good for.
Yeah, absolutely. So Klickly, as mentioned, we're an advertising platform. We advertise across 25 million plus sites. We're a bit different in that we don't require spend upfront. So for us, a lot of brands come to Klickly to, one, leverage out because it's very risk adverse for them. But more so, we view ourselves as fuel to the fire. So if you're doing really well on Facebook, or maybe you're doing really well on Google and you have a great problem of I'm getting 5x return on ad spend and I'm plateauing, like, great, it's a 5x, but everybody wants more.
Right.
We consider ourselves a great secondary solution for that fuel on the fire and additive channel into your marketing stack so that we can drive sales in a different way.
Okay, that makes sense. So then I guess you guys are AI, machine learning. So you already kind of have to have that customer base in order for you to learn from it, right? Like, it's not like you could be a new and you've only spent $5 a day on Facebook.
Yeah, that is a very good point. Because we are 100% machine. There's no humans managing. It is data-driven machine learning algorithm. If you don't have data or visits or things of that nature on your site, then it's very hard for us to form logic.
Right. Okay.
Simply said, no data, no logic. No
right.
Yeah.
That makes sense. But I like the fact that it doesn't require any upfront spend because, like, as you know, and everybody here in business knows, cash flow is like everything. And if you have your money that you have to spend and then you have to sell your product and just wait for your money to come in through Shopify, whatever, then it's just it's a strain on your cash flow, and you always want cash. So that's nice.
Everybody likes extra cash.
Exactly. I love extra money. Okay, so now we can talk about how to lower your CPA. So I can start with just what I know, which is creating lookalike audiences. That's what I do.
Oh yeah, that has to be number one.
Yes, it's good. And I started early. So like I started like last week and I started creating more lookalike audience based on my highest value customers. So I found that that's like a really good way to reduce my cost. Because I think my last one was like $11 per purchase and now it's at like $5. So that's like so much
amazing. Yeah.
Yes, I'm like really, really happy with that. And over the weekend, I'm going to start creating a few more audiences. But that's my number one tip. Anyway, from my own experience.
It's a very, very good tip. I mean, most businesses, you always hear the rule of like the 80-20. Some people are like 15 words. 15% of your customers or 20% of your customers are going to drive 80% of your revenue. Right. So being able to take those 15 to 20% and create a lookalike, I mean, it's kind of a no-brainer.
Yeah, exactly.
I do. Interestingly enough, I love using lookalikes in general. So you can kind of go through your second and your third tier, of course, and discover new audiences. But I do also like to dive a little bit deeper into my data, and it might be a very small percentage. But any of like the outliers, right? If you ever find yourself, well, I'm plateauing, I'm hitting 5x, I don't know what else to do. Look at the outliers and kind of the weird audience that you have that for whatever reason, these few people keep coming in, maybe create a lookalike there as well and do some testing on other channels and see if there's any interaction or sales. And it could be something that you build steam and actually open up a new grapevine for.
Right. That's true. Looking for outliers is good. And then there's also creative, lowering your ad spend with giving fresh, fun creative and A/B testing your creative too. Oh, and then also not just testing, like I got an email the other day of testing carousels and like dynamic ads, but like honestly, if you don't test, you don't know what works for you. So like I did try carousels, but like I find just like single images with like the product tag works for me. So like always testing what works for your audience and what works for your brand.
Always test. And everything, even I know creative, and a lot of times we picture creative as right, an image. But it's also, I mean, it's a little bit more content, but like video creative and different things of that nature, lifestyle versus product.
Right.
So many different things that you can test. And yes, you can make a gut hypothesis, but you really don't know anything until you actually do it. And
Exactly. What's the quote that everybody has the plan until they get punched in the face? Isn't that like Mike or something? I don't know who it is. Some boxer said that. Okay, and then what about performance marketing? How does that lower your CPA?
Yeah, I mean, performance marketing in general, it's just that, right? It's very, very focused and based on performance. First and foremost, it's sales. Second to that, though, could be anywhere from performance on ROI or return on ad spend, which those two are different as well. So a lot of what I love for performance marketing is that it's focused on that, but there's plenty of options similar to Klickly, regardless if it's Klickly or not to keep plugging, but you have options of no upfront spend and having availability to actually get visibility without saying, well, shoot, I need to spend $1,000, $5,000, $10,000, however much it is.
Right. Ads are so expensive. They're like so expensive. And they are always getting more expensive, which is like so painful.
Yeah. We had that little tiny window when COVID first hit where people were shy and didn't know what to do, and CPMs, the CPCs went down a little bit. But I think everybody else was kind of like, okay, I'm tired of waiting, and they're just kind of back to that normal level.
Right. And then there were, I guess these big brands were only like 7% of Facebook's revenue or whatever, but they've also pulled some of their advertising from Facebook, which is like, good for other people.
Yeah, definitely good for the small guys. But I actually, and not to veer off of like planning for ad spend, but that's a really great point, is that performance marketing and other channels as well, when you're planning your ad spend, if you have 85% of your budget in Facebook or 90%, what happens if Facebook goes down or something happens? You want to have some sort of backup plan, or start to slowly, as best as you can, diversify away from all of your spend and all of your revenue in one singular channel.
Right, exactly. Because I actually did have, there's a customer, and they had the majority of their of their sales came from Facebook. And then one day Facebook, I don't know what they did. They accidentally turned off their ads or something like that. And they had no sales that day. And that's devastating for a company. It's insane because you don't have any control over it. So diversifying those.
And you have no idea why.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, cool. So I think that this was good. So I'll just go over some things that people can do in the next 24 hours to plan their ad spend. And then we'll have a sweet checklist that people can find in the video description, or wherever they're seeing this, there will be the checklist somewhere. So the first thing people can do in the next 24 hours to properly plan their ad spend is narrow down their core message. So making sure that your message is cohesive across your various channels, whether that's Klickly, Facebook, wherever you're advertising, making sure that it's cohesive. Fine-tuning your creative, so making sure that you're looking at the successful aspects of your creative. And if you have tested before Black Friday, make sure that you use those winning tests. And explore other channels early, right? So like you said, everything gets expensive as people move into Black Friday. So make sure you're exploring your options extremely early, hopefully right now while you're listening to this. And then utilize some lookalike audiences. So you can choose to do all 4 of those things in the next 24 hours, or you can just choose one. So I think that's it. Unless you have anything else to add.
I think that's spot on.
Okay, perfect. So we will see you guys in the next video on how you can plan for Black Friday, Cyber Monday. And we'll be talking about creating trust and building urgency online. So we'll see you guys later.
Awesome. See ya.